Hey, Ripley. I heard you, ran into these things before.
That's right.
Wow, man. So, what did you do?
I died.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Kong bows to no one.
I volunteer as tribute!
Game over, man! Game over!
Hey everyone, welcome back to Chills and Thrills. Connor here, and of course, I am here with my co-host Adrian. And today we are continuing the Alien franchise and looking at Alien Resurrection. So, Adrian, when it comes to this film, what are the thoughts? I know this is usually this in part 3, as we said in the last episode. These two are kind of the black sheep of this franchise, but then are still loved by some of the fans. You know, you very rarely hear this as a favorite, but I have heard it as a favorite. So what are the thoughts on this one?
Ouch. Ouch is the thought. Um, I there's so many things going for this movie. Um, but I don't think the execution was really there. But I mean I watched it. I mean, hell, I watched it today, and I didn't have my phone out. I was watching it. I mean, it was a lot of action, a lot of shooting. Um, a lot of times where I'm laughing at moments that aren't really supposed to be funny, but are hilarious. Um, but I don't know, man. This one's a toss up for me because it's a decent movie. It's got some interesting stuff, and I mean, like I said, a lot of action. It's got Winona Ryder, Sigourney Weaver, Ron Perlman, Dan Hedaya. How do you pronounce his name? Is it Hedaya?
I am not 100% sure.
Oh my god, that's the first time I think I've ever said his name out loud. Um, and now I'm doing nothing but questioning it. But it's it's all these characters, all these very famous actors you've seen, and yeah, so much going for it. Um, honestly, I like it. I don't know. Say what you want, but I put this movie on just like I did today and just enjoyed it.
And this is one of the ones, like, I feel like as a kid, this is the one of the ones that you really like. A lot of, as you said, like, it's a lot of action. You get some of the, you get Sigourney Weaver back as Ripley and Winona Ryder. And for me, when I seen this, one of the big names that I recognized was Brad Dourif, because as soon as he started talking, I was like, I know that voice. And then, like, you hear it throughout the film, and it's like, son of a bitch, that's Chucky. He is the voice of Chucky. And, like, you don't ever see his face in film, or at least when you were younger. I only knew his voice and his name. So then hearing his voice in this, I was like, yep, I know exactly who that is. So that was a big, like, little, like, fist pump for me, because I've only knew him by the voice. So to get to see him act when I was younger was fun. There I just think the aliens and, like, certain scenes in this look good. They're really, I think they're really slimy, and, like, the special effects are pretty decent. Some of the scenes are cheesy, like you said. I definitely caught myself laughing at this one, but it's like, I it's the same problem I have with a film a little bit later on in this franchise as well, and it's, like, the last, like, 20 minutes where we get, like, the newborn alien that is produced and born just like human children are, like, instead of, like the chest burster. And it's I don't know, that last 20 minutes with, like, that baby, like, humanoid looking alien, I could throw that away and this film would go up 2 stars for me, or like, 2 points out of 10. Instead of a 5 out of 10, it would be a 7 per se. So like that part of the film drives me nuts. But like all the alien action, I think the characters do well, and it's definitely not my favorite. But like you said, I can put it on and have fun with it. But it definitely has problems.
Yeah, I can agree with that, and I'm gonna pause for just 1 second to come up or speak something that just clicked whenever something you said. Brad Dourif. I forgot that he played Chucky. I forgot that was his voice, and now that I'm sitting here, I got my eyes closed, and I'm going kinda through the movie, and then I hear him talk, and holy crap. Yes, it's Chucky. Have I never put those 2 together? I've seen this movie so many times, and I've seen, Child's Play movies so many times. They used to freak me out as a kid, but, my cousins, I think they found out that Chucky freaked me out, so, guess what movie they decided to watch every single time they came over? Um, but I just that flew over my head. I knew it was Brad Dourif, and looking at it, I just never put those 2 together. Holy crap.
You are welcome.
Thank you for that.
But this is just one of those films that I it came so much later than the 3rd film did, and is I believe this was like a 6 or 7-year gap. This one was 97, and I believe the 3rd one was 91. It was 92. So we had a 5-year gap. So a little bit of a gap here, and I don't know if they were just I know this went through a little bit of development trouble, but not as much as some of the other films we've talked about. But I can still definitely have fun with this. It's probably the cheesiest, or one of the cheesiest films in this franchise, and one of the farthest from like that first Alien film where that it's like a straight horror thriller, and then this one's kind of more. This one is it's like a little more action comedy. It's probably the most action comedy of the franchise, and then once we continue with like for 15 years later, we get like Prometheus and a couple of the prequels, and we finally get back to that like mystery sci-fi like horror thriller aspect. But this is one that I can have fun with. But I watched it twice within a 2-week span, and I feel like that was more than enough for at least a little while here.
Yeah, and to answer your question, uh, Alien 79, Aliens 86, 7 years, 6 years between Aliens and Alien 3 92, and 5 years between Alien 3 and Resurrection.
So I mean, that's probably a coincidence, but what a coincidence to have, 765. And each time you go down to the next film, I feel like they get worse. At least from Aliens on.
You gotta spend some time in the freaking on the writer's room, man. Spend a little bit more time in there.
They had to they coulda cooked up something better than this, but I won't knock it too much because, like I said, I can put it on and have fun with it. So, instead of, we'll rip on it some more, and once we get to, like, favorite lines and things like that, I'm sure we'll have some dishonorable mentions, or some scenes or something. So before we get to that, I'll jump into some background for you on Alien Resurrection here.
Hell yeah, let's go.
So, Alien Resurrection is a 1997 American science fiction horror film directed by Jean-Pierre Jeunet, written by Josh Whedon, and starring Sigourney Weaver and Winona Ryder. It is the 4th installment of the Alien franchise and was filmed at the 20th Century Fox Studios in Los Angeles, California. In the film, set 200 years after Alien 3, Ellen Ripley is cloned and an alien queen is surgically removed from her body. The United States military hopes to breed aliens to study and research on the spaceship USM Auriga. using human hosts abducted and delivered to them by a group of mercenaries. The aliens escape their enclosures, and Ripley and the mercenaries attempt to escape and destroy the Auriga before it reaches the Earth. Additional roles are played by Ron Perlman, Dan Hedaya, J.E. Freeman, Brad Dourif, and Michael Wincott. Alien Resurrection had its premiere in Paris on November 6, 1997, and was released to the public on November 12th. In the box office, it was the least successful of the Alien franchise in that market. The film received mixed reviews from critics who criticized the screenplay but praised Weaver's performance and Joannette's direction. The film was nominated for 6 Saturn Awards, including Best Science Fiction Film, Best Actress for Sigourney Weaver, Best Supporting Actress for Winona Ryder, and Best Direction for Joannette. A sequel to Resurrection was planned, as Whedon had written an Earth-set screenplay for Alien 5. Sigourney Weaver was not interested in this setting, but has remained open to reprising her role as Ellen Ripley on the condition that she likes the story. More sequels were planned to follow Resurrection, but were ultimately abandoned as the crossover series arrived in 2004 with Aliens vs. Predator, along with the prequel series included in the 2012 film Prometheus. The storylines of Resurrection have been continued in the comic series Alien vs. Predator vs. the Terminator and books Aliens Original Sin and Alien Sea of Sorrows. So there is some background on Alien Resurrection, which I had no idea about those comics.
Um, I did know about those comics, and it just happened completely by accident. Um, my dad's an exterminator, and he was, I don't know, he was at somebody's house, and he was cleaning, and they're like, "Hey, uh, my kids moved out, and they left these boxes of comics. Want to know if you wanted them?" He's like, "Yeah, my son's a dork. Why not?" And so he gets the boxes, and he waits for me to come down there, and he gives them to me. He's like, "Yeah, why don't you read these or give them to the kids? I don't care. You take them." And then I found all these comic books. There's probably about like 200 of them in there, and there's a bunch of like Alien comic books and Predator comic books, and I was like, "What?" And so I started reading them. I was like, "Well, now I gotta read the first issue. I gotta read this issue." And then I gave them to my oldest, Jonah, and now there's a comic book store right down the street from us, and so every now and then he's like, "Oh, can we see if they got this comic?" I'm like, "Ah, all right. I started something that's gonna cost me a lot of money. Damn it."
See, I knew they had a bunch of comics, but I didn't know about like Alien versus Predator versus Terminator. Like I knew about the Alien versus Predator comics, but I never knew how deep they went or anything like that. I've never read any of them. Just like I was a really big fan of the Walking Dead series on TV, and I never I clearly eventually realized that they were comics, but I just never got into reading them.
Yeah, I read most of The Walking Dead, and I loved it. Like a buddy of mine, he let me borrow, I think the first 2 compendiums. I don't know what I think that's what they're called. And whenever the show first came out, so I read a good chunk of it, and I actually caught up with. I passed the show, and whatever. Caught up with all the comics that were out, and then never picked it back up. Like watched the show. All the way until Negan showed up, and then I watched a little bit after Negan, and then that was about it. Um, I don't know why I never picked that one back up. It's just one of those things, life we get busy.
I understand that. Maybe one day I'll get to them. Maybe I'll get more into some comics. I've read a couple Godzilla ones, so maybe I need to broaden my horizons and get into some Alien versus Predator and some Walking Dead and things like that. Maybe I need to. Adrian thinks I need to get into more anime anyway, so maybe I'll get into some anime and some comics.
This is 100% true. You need to get into some anime. There's some beautiful things out there, and there's some wonderful, story-driven, storyline. It's just a lot of stuff. You need to get into it. You're missing out on the whole culture here.
You send me some recommendations and I'll start. I will slowly start digging in.
Oh, don't start with oh, yeah, you'll get the recommendations, don't worry.
All right, why don't we head into a trailer for Alien Resurrection? We'll get a plot synopsis read off for the film. We'll come back with some numbers and then we'll see what we want to do next. We'll just start with numbers.
Of course, let's do it.
These were very, very hard to come by.
So was our cargo. Whatever you got going on here ain't exactly approved by Congress.
It's a military operation.
Really?
Who are you?
Ripley Ellen, Lieutenant First Class, number 36706.
Ellen Ripley died 200 years ago. You're a thing, a construct. They grew you in a lab.
What the hell is going on here?
He is breeding an alien species.
Wish you could understand what we're trying to do here.
Now they brought it out of you.
Not all the way out.
You want to tell us what this is?
It's a queen. She'll breed. You'll die.
Ellen Ripley died trying to wipe the species out. I'm not anxious to see her taking up her old hobby.
I can feel it. I can hear it moving.
So I hear you, like, ran into these things before.
Yeah,
What did you do?
I died.
We're moving.
That's a standard emergency procedure.
Any serious problem in the ship autopilot's back to home base.
What's home base?
Earth.
I thought you were dead.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
"200 years after Ellen Ripley's death, military scientists aboard the space vessel USM Origo create a clone of her, designated Ripley 8, using DNA from blood samples taken from Furina Fury 161. The Xenomorph Queen's DNA has been combined with Ripley's, resulting in the clone growing up with an embryo inside it. The scientists extract the embryo, raise it, and collect its eggs while keeping Ripley 8 alive for further study. As a result of the Xenomorph Queen's DNA, the clone possesses enhanced strength and reflexes, acidic blood, and a psychic link with the Xenomorphs, making her more empathetic toward them than the humans she encounters. Additionally, the Xenomorph's genetic memory allows the clone to retain some of Ripley's memories. A group of mercenaries, Elgin, Joner, Christie, Vreese, Hillard, and Annalee Call, arrives at the Auriga on their ship, the Betty, delivering several abducted humans in stasis. The military scientists use the humans as hosts for the aliens, raising several adult xenomorphs for study. The Betty crew soon encounters Ripley 8. Call recognizes her name and attempts to kill her, suspecting that Ripley 8 may be used to create xenomorphs, but the creatures have already been cloned. The mature xenomorphs escape confinement by killing one of their own and using its acidic blood to burn through their enclosure. They capture Dr. Jonathan Gittiman, damage the Auriga, and kill most of the crew who fail to evacuate, including General Perez and Elgin. Military scientist Dr. Wren reveals that the ship's default command in an emergency is to return to Earth. Realizing this would unleash the xenomorphs on Earth, Ripley 8, the mercenaries, Wren, a soldier named DeStefano, and surviving xenomorph host Purvis decide to head for the Betty and use it to destroy the Auriga. Along the way, Ripley 8 discovers a laboratory containing the grotesque results of the previous 7 failed attempts to clone Ellen Ripley. One survivor begs Ripley 8 to euthanize her. She hesitantly complies and then incinerates the lab. As the group navigates the damaged ship, they swim through a flooded kitchen pursued by 2 xenomorphs. One is killed while the other snatches Hillard. As they escape the kitchen, the xenomorph returns and blinds Christie, who sacrifices himself to kill the creature. Wren betrays the group and shoots Call, revealing in her survival that she is a synthetic. Call confesses that she is one of the Wayland's Legends extraterrestrial generation of synthetics called Autons, who were so lifelike that they gained consciousness and rebelled, burning their internal wireless modems and trying to pass themselves off as a human. Knowing what androids can do, Ripley 8 takes Call to a small chapel and makes her connect herself to the station's computer. Using her abilities to interface with the Auriga's systems, Call sets the ship on a collision course with Earth, hoping to destroy the xenomorphs in the crash. She cuts off Ren's escape route and directs the xenomorphs toward him. Ripley 8 is captured by a xenomorph while the others head for the Betty. Ren, already aboard, shoots Purvis, takes Call hostage, and demands that she abort the collision. An injured Purvis attacks and grapples Ren, causing his xenomorph's embryo's emergence to kill them both. The survivors shoot and kill the juvenile xenomorph. Ripley 8 is taken to the xenomorph nest, where she finds Gediman alive and partially cocooned. The xenomorph queen, having developed a uterus due to her genetic contamination with Ripley 8, gives birth to a xenomorph with overtly human traits. Unable to bond with the queen, the hybrid xenomorph recognizes Ripley 8 as its mother and kills the xenomorph queen and Gediman. Ripley 8 takes advantage of the distraction and escapes and makes her way to the Betty. The newborn hybrid reaches the ship and attacks Call, killing DeStefano when he tries to help her. Ripley 8 saves Call by distracting the hybrid using her acidic blood. Ripley 8 melts a hole in a window and pushes the hybrid towards it. Ripley 8 tearfully watches as the decompression violently eviscerates the creature through the hole and blows its pulverized remains out into space. The countdown on the Auriga continues as Ripley 8, Call, Joner, and Vreese escape in the Betty. The Auriga collides with Earth, causing a large explosion as they look down at Earth. Call asks what Ripley 8 wants to do next. Ripley replies, "I don't know. I'm a stranger here myself." All right, let's jump into some numbers here. Of course, I got the correct ones, and then I got the inflation numbers for you. So Alien Resurrection had a budget of $70 million with a worldwide box office return of $161 million, which in 2026 dollars would be a budget of about $141 million and a box office return just under $326 million at $325.95 million.
Holy crap.
So
Just holy crap.
literally just a pinch over doubling your budget.
Yeah. And people hate on this movie? For real?
I didn't think that this film, the way it look, I don't mean to knock on it, but just the way it looks, because there's certain parts of this film that look a little cheap, or like I know it's 97, but where the CGI looks a little bad. But for $70 million, I didn't think this film put that budget or enough of it on screen.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I definitely can agree with that, and we'll get into Sigourney Weaver's budget. Or how much she got paid for doing this film.
We might be one and the same on that one. We might be talking about the same thing here. But before we get there, I'll knock out the rest of the numbers because numbers for us are always quick. Alien Resurrection has a 6.2 out of 10 rating on IMDb, a 56% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, a 62 out of 100 rating on Metacritic. 83% of Google users liked this film, so that is higher than I thought it would be. And Adrian's favorite number, of course, there are 30 deaths in this film, averaging to one death every 3.63 minutes. So just under about every 3 3/4 minutes.
Which is fantastic.
They do come in bunches in this film. You get like 7 here, 5 here, a couple here, but I'll take them. When it's like when we get like the xenomorphs kind of taking out the army crew, it's like that's one of the big kill scenes where I think there's like 8 or 9 or 10 deaths that are all pretty quick, but it still adds to it. It makes them seem a little more dangerous when you're taking out 9 or 10 guys at a time.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I'm telling you, dude, you need to watch the Alien Earth TV show. Like, you truly see what a xenomorph can do, and, like, it's insane.
I know I'm slacking. I am slacking. I have not watched one episode of that yet. I know
Shame,
you're
shame, shame.
disappointed in me again.
I am, but it's okay. We'll get past this.
We'll get past it. You're used to being disappointed at least once an episode.
Oh my goodness, it's between you and my wife. I'm disappointed in both of y'all, and it's hilarious because I will quote a movie and I'll look at her and she's like, "Are you quoting something?" I was like, "How do you not know?" Like Super Troopers. Everybody should know Super Troopers, and nothing. It's like, okay, well, what about the other guys? Quoted to some of that. Nope, nothing. Like, damn it, dude. Why must you hurt me?
I did that at work the other day. A buddy was helping me. We were piping a bunch of stuff, and he's an apprentice, so he's a little lower on the totem pole than me. So I had him bend something, and he bent it a little short. So I was like, "We're gonna need a bigger boat," and he just looked at me like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I was like, "You've
Jaws?
never
Come on.
seen
What?
Jaws?" And he goes, "No, why?" I was like, "Dude, it's like one of the greatest movies of all time." I was
There
I I was
there
like,
are
"You gotta work with
times
somebody else."
yeah, there's times where I'm at work and I quote something, and then, I'll have, like, one of the younger bucks, they'll look at me and like, "What?" And one of my, like one of the other leads or, one of my bosses will walk past, and I was like, "Hey, you need to take over for this right now because I need to go into a room and cry."
I was deeply hurt on that one.
Jaws, come on, that's like one of the most that's like one of the biggest quotable lines in movie history.
Well, he told me he said he's not a big movie guy, so he told me to start him a list of movies he needs to watch, and I was like, "Dude, if you haven't seen Jaws, you're gonna be watching movies for like the next 30 years if I write you a list."
Oh, yeah, 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 my wife has, the rest of her life, of this. So, I mean, I already have a list of movies that she needs to watch after I die. Hey,
And
you
she's
think
gotta
your
watch
homework
all
is
the
over?
podcast movies with us.
Right? You think your homework is over just because I'm gone? Mm-mm, nope.
Poor Kaylin.
I know, right?
Alright, so this is where I was gonna go dealer's choice for you. Would you like to jump into our favorites category, or would you like to get discussing some fun facts and trivia?
Uh, what do we usually do? We usually do favorites, don't we?
We've been for the I believe for the Predator and Alien franchises, we've been doing favorites. We usually jump into trivia. So
Yeah,
either or.
let's jump into some trivia.
All right, I'll knock one out for you first because I feel like you're gonna have one to go right off of this. So Sigourney Weaver originally declined to do a fourth Alien film. When asked why she changed her mind, she replied, "They basically drove a dump truck full of money to my house."
Yeah, that was hilarious. Just reading that, just I cried a little. I'm not gonna lie, I cried a little. So I'm like, damn. Ah, that's completely, yeah. I mean, people will say, call that a sellout, but I mean, I'm sorry. Would would you say no to $11 million payday in 1992?
I would be in the worst film possible for $11 million.
Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on 1 second before I figure this out. Let me Google something. 1192. Okay, so yeah, she got paid $11 million, which was the entire budget for the first Alien movie. Yeah, I already I said how much she got paid before I said my fun fact, but in case you were wondering, in today's dollar bills, that is 25.5 million to $26 million in 2026.
I don't think anyone is turning that down.
Hell no. I mean,
That
like,
that
give me
sets you
like a
up for the
tenth of that,
rest of your life.
right?
Yeah,
Give me
give
a
me two
tenth of that,
million.
right? That's all I need. That's all I want. That's all I want. I mean, I'm not greedy. I'm not greedy. Go ahead and give me a million with an S. You know, just anything with an S, I'm fine with. You know, 1 millions, 2 millions, 3 millions. That's up to you.
Anything that has 6 zeros.
Yeah, yeah. It just come on. You could figure out the first digit with just 6 zeros behind it. That's it. I feel like that's not being greedy.
I have another one that kinda deals with the money of the film, but it doesn't have anything to do with, who they paid it to. So,
Okay.
the director, Jean-Pierre Jeunet, wanted to have a scene where a mosquito bites Ripley, then vanishes into smoke because of her acid blood, but eventually he dropped the idea after the special effects team told him how much it would cost.
You know, and the funny thing is if you told me like it cost like say it cost I don't know. Say it costs $10,000 for just that one 5 second clip, right? I would come up to him and be like, "Hey, I could make that for $3,000." And I know exactly how I would do it. Is I would get a bunch of mosquitoes. Everybody be uncomfortable for like a day. Oh, but we'll spray. Release a bunch of mosquitoes and have it zoomed in on Sigourney Weaver, and then whenever one lands, bam, we watch it drink the blood, and then it flies away, and then I just cut and then just like do like a little puff of smoke, just a little, and done. And what would that have cost me? Probably about like $75, but I just
I
got 3,000 for it.
I think it would've been a cool scene. I think it like, in theaters or even, like, at home, like, for people who are seeing it for the first time, I think it would've got a laugh out of people.
Right? I think that would
I
have been cool. Like
Yeah, just a
I
little
just
10, 15-second scene of it. I think it would've been worth it.
yeah. I think it's very doable. See, I need to be in Hollywood. I'm saying I've said this once, I've said it a million times. Just put me in Hollywood, drop me in any one of these categories, and I'll crush it. You know, special effects, I think I could do pretty well. Um, costume design, I think I can make some pretty crazy stuff. Put me as an actor, pay me $11 million, and I'll dress up as Sigourney Weaver. I don't care. Okay, so my next one, we're gonna stick with we'll switch over to another one of my favorite actresses, um, Winona Ryder. She agreed to do this film even before reading the script. She stated that she didn't care if she died in the first scene; she'd do it. Ryder claimed that then she could boast about being in an alien movie to her younger brothers. That was her whole. That was a whole thing. This is just a one up on your brothers. Just like what? I was in an alien movie. You weren't.
I seen that and I liked that 'cause I've always liked her as an actress. I mean, not ever been, like, one of my favorites, but, like, I was a big fan of her and, like, Edward Scissorhands and
Mhm.
this, and, I mean, she's been in a lot more.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, like, Beetlejuice, like, come on.
Come on, son. Beetlejuice, Mr. Deeds, like all these great movies. Winona Ryder. I'm just saying, you put Winona Ryder in any movie, guaranteed knockout performance. Hell, she doesn't even have to read a script to make it a great. Just love her. Okay,
So I'm
moving
gonna
on.
yeah, I'll go right over to another actor in the film. So Ron Perlman did most of his own stunts, particularly the scene where he hangs upside down off a ladder by his legs whilst firing two guns at an alien. The next day, when he went to take a shower, he discovered he had severely lacerated the backs of his knees in doing so.
That scene, that stunt in particular, I was in near tears watching that because it's supposed to be a badass scene. And granted, in 1992, probably was, but I think he talked at one point about wasting ammo. Um, and then there he was just hanging upside down, just firing rapidly. Just he's trying not to hit his friends, which good for you. And then he's just firing everywhere except the damn alien.
I thought it was comedic that the alien he's smart enough to dodge. He's like
To
bobbing and
dodge.
weaving like he's in a
Yeah.
boxing match.
So adaptive. I love it. Um, okay, that was my next one, so I gotta switch over to a different one. Okay. At around 3 minutes, the opening shot of the Ripley clone, I'll be as a young girl, was based on photographs which Sigourney Weaver had given the special effects crew of her as a child.
Hmm. I was
Right?
curious how they did that. If it was like some de-aging. I mean, I don't know if that was around back then, like trying to de-age with CGI and things like that. I'm sure it wasn't. If it was, it wasn't advanced enough to do anything. But that always made me curious.
Yeah, I still don't know how they really did that, so maybe I wouldn't be so well at Hollywood. I don't know. I'll figure it out. We'll be
We'll
all right.
deep dive and figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll I mean, sure, 1992 technology might, you know, be outclassing me at the moment, but I'll get around. I'll figure it out.
So this is the first film in the Alien franchise not to be nominated for an Academy Award. So what does that tell you?
That tells me that I'm close to crying. I mean, I get it. It's not number 1 or number 2. I mean, hell, it's not even number 3, but damn. Not even in that hurts. That does. And you had such a great cast and you do this. Ugh, that just hurts. It does.
Yeah, I think the casting in this was really good actually. And a lot
Right?
when I was younger, a lot of this cast was I I had no idea who most of this cast was until, I seen them in things later on. So,
And so speaking of the cast, it was hilarious because I was talking to my buddy and I was like, yeah, well, I got to rewatch Alien Resurrection, for the chills and thrills, and he's like, oh, cool, that has a really good cast. I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. He goes, it's got that dude, Dan as the general, and he didn't even say his last name. It's like he just remembered Dan. He's like, he's the dude with the eyebrows. Like that's how he explained him. And I was like thinking about it. I was like, oh, you mean the dad from Clueless? And he goes, um, don't you mean Arias from Commando or Jeff Rabin from The Usual Suspects? And here I am quoting fucking Clueless. Yeah, I got made fun of hard that day. Okay. Here's one that I found was very interesting. When pre-production was underway, the original Alien Queen could not be located, and the molds that were used to build the original was damaged beyond usefulness. Fortunately, the original life-size puppet was located in the personal avid collection of an avid Alien 1979 fan.
I wanted more of the Queen in this movie. I will
I
not
did
lie.
too.
We did not get enough.
No, not even close. Like, how dare you do this to us? Like, we had to wait till AVP to see some good Alien Queen action. It just hurt.
I will I will talk a little bit more about that once we get to some favorites categories.
Yeah, let's do it. All right,
So
next, what else you got?
I got two more for you, and my second to last one is at around an hour and 26 minutes in. To achieve the shot where the camera travels inside Leland Orser to see the alien fetus about to be birthed, Orser had a camera down his throat and then pulled it out, and then this shot was reversed to achieve the shot that we see in the film.
That's weird, but I like it.
I
That is
yeah,
such an interesting thing.
yeah, I don't know if I like that or would want to be part of that. I don't want any cameras or tubes or anything going down my throat because that just seems uncomfortable.
I'm gonna stick clear of that joke. Um, the obvious joke. Um,
Appreciate that.
I'm just, I'm just, I'm just moving on, Connor. I'm just moving on. Okay. Um, Although it appears that the cast spent most of the time wandering up and down endless spaceship corridors, in reality, there were only 2 built for the film. That
Oh, man.
killed me.
What are we gonna do with the old Alien Resurrection?
I know. This scene, I mean, this movie, there's so much trivia. There is, hundreds of trivia things that you could look at, like, behind the scenes stuff, it's just insane. And I was kind of, I was just enthralled with it. Like, I was like, "Holy crap, this is crazy." Um, but, you know, the I can't believe that they only had 2 sets built for the damn spaceship.
Yeah, and then, yeah, there's so much of this, and we try to find ones that we think are gonna be, like, the most interesting or kinda capture some listeners' attention, so we could literally most of the movies we've done, we could probably do trivia and fun facts for, like, a half an hour, 45 minutes per episode and still have plenty to talk about.
Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. It's insane. Some people just don't realize how much trivia there is behind some of these movies.
Absolutely. So my last one for you here, this was kind of my favorite one, and it's at around 10 minutes in of the extended version only of this film. Ripley becomes unexpectedly emotional upon seeing a picture of a little blonde girl. At the end of the chapel scene, Ripley tells Call of a memory she has of a girl she once tried to help, but she can no longer remember the girl's name. This girl is Rebecca Newt Jordan, who appeared in Aliens in 1986. And in the novelization of this film, subsequent events trigger more of Ripley's memories, and near the end, she finally remembers Newt's name.
Why would they take that out?
That was my favorite trivia that I found.
I am completely blown away by that. I absolutely that is insane. I love that. Thank you for blessing me with that one.
Absolutely.
Ugh, okay. Let me go into this one's a bit of a longie. We'll get into this. Um, in order to portray the aliens' adaptive abilities, the filmmakers decided to show them for the first time swimming underwater. Visual effects supervisor Eric Henry explained, one of the early things we talked about was what happens when the alien is born and they grow up so fast and they've never been in water before. And what we wanted to make sure that people realize that these guys were so bad that when they encountered something new, like a new environment, water being one, they immediately knew what to do. They could breathe underwater, they could swim like experts immediately. There wasn't any trepidation in is this cold water or anything like that. They had to be real badasses. It's what the whole series is about. So to portray the new swimming ability, ADI added a laterally flattened fin-like extension at the end of the tail, and Gillis elaborated, "We let the fact that they swam influence the design of the new warrior creatures to a degree, so we put a paddle-like blades at the end of the tail. The new trait was based on a crocodile's tail. The spines along the vertebrae down the tail were also increased because the first version of the story featured aliens swimming and emerging from the surface, thus exposing said details. Those scenes were, however, removed. Completing the aliens was a new color scheme based on sepia tones with textures and subtle details based on Geiger's paintings. Chris Cunningham's final creature design was sculpted by Gerdu Shell in mannequin form. So that was a bit of a longie there, but I liked that they went that deep with it.
Again, why did you cut those scenes?
Right? There's so much with this movie that as I was reading different scenes that have been cut and different small things, blew me away. Just I I wanted to cry and I wanted to scream, and it just like you could have done so much more with this film.
What is the quote in anger management? I went from happy to angry, skip
Eh,
sad, and now
That
I feel like
I
kicking
want
his
to kick
ass.
his ass.
That's how you feel reading some of these fun facts and trivia.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, wholeheartedly. Just it's frustrating.
Because I feel like 80% of the scenes they took out of this film were like alien action scenes or where we have scenes of the xenomorphs, and it's like if you're having extra scenes of them swimming or like where we get to see the detail of how detailed the suits are or the creatures are in the film, like why are we taking that out? Take some of these cheap ass dialogue scenes out, like where Ripley says, "Who do I got to get off this boat?" It's like, why is that needed?
We didn't need that at all. We
No,
really didn't. I
take
I
that.
watched that. That was so freaking cringy.
And I just like the way Christy looks at her like, "What the hell?" Take that out and give us another 30 seconds of Xenomorph swimming or something, you know?
Yes. Oh my goodness, that's freaking insane.
Ugh.
Okay.
Is that all do
Um,
you have any more for me?
I got one more.
Alright, let me hear it.
All right. Milk, the stuff you drink, had to be added to the underwater set as the water was simply too transparent to be convincing.
Had to make her a little murky.
Yeah. Like that's it. That's the whole thing. It's just yeah, they had to add milk to it. Water's too clean. They're not in Michigan. Um So yeah, milk.
What a cheap way to make the water look like a little diluted.
Right? I feel like you could also have gotten away with a little bit of food coloring.
Throw some chunks of oatmeal in there, make it look really bad, you know?
Right? Oh man, we could have done. See, put us in Hollywood. We'll figure it out.
One chance. Give us one chance.
That's all I ask. That is all I ask.
So that's all we have for our fun facts and trivia. I'll go ahead and I'll give you my favorite character and I'll let you take score away first. So I'll give you my favorite character.
All right.
I ended up choosing Christie, and I feel like one scene defined why he was my favorite when I was younger because I've always been a fan of his character in this film. And it's when he's got his guns that are attached to his arms and the guy has the gun to the back of his head and he's like, drop him now. And he's like, I can't do that, man. They're attached to me. And he ends up pretty much telling the guy to screw off, shoots the gun. The bullet ricochets like twice off the ceiling and back into the guy's helmet. And as like a 8 or 9 year old, you're like, that's probably not realistic, but that was pretty badass.
Yeah,
So
probably
like,
not realistic.
no, I don't think a bullet's just gonna hop around. So, but like that scene always made him my favorite character. So I was a little biased towards him coming in to rewatch this.
um, let's see. Christy, good character. Good character. I definitely a badass. He gets um the alien spat his blood at him. He gets it on the face, and he's got acid blood on the face. He's melting, and he's still being a badass. Like I love it. Um, my favorite character was Call, Winona Ryder. I I I feel like she was an obvious choice on that one. Um, she had a nice little backstory. I thought that was pretty cool. That she's just a rebel and how they went into how she's like what was it? An automaton and they ordered them all to be destroyed and she's like, "Yeah, a few of us got away and we burnt our motherboards." And yeah, I was like, "Damn, okay, cool." Yeah, I like that they gave them that they gave her this unique backstory and created just this little rebel in everything she's doing. Like I love that. I just yeah. Winona Ryder, yet again, call to my heart.
Not a bad character at all. I'll give you that. And like I said, a lot of this cast. I mean, I honestly, I know you're a big fan of Ron Perlman for the Hellboy franchise, I'm sure.
Mhm.
So I was surprised that that wasn't where you went. So, I mean, I thought, uh, Reese, I thought he was funny. He was our kinda, like, comedic character here. Ripley, I mean, this is the only movie that she really doesn't stand out. I feel like
Right?
in every other movie, we're drawn to her, and in this one, I get it, she's supposed to be portraying a clone, so she's kinda bland, and she's not the true Ellen Ripley, so maybe they had her act a different way, but, I mean, Joner, played by Ron Perlman, was a awesome character. Winona Ryder's character, I mean, Christy, I mean, between those 3, I don't think we have a wrong choice.
I agree. Pretty much anybody from that group, would have been very a decent choice enough.
So what was your favorite score or soundtrack of the film?
Ooh, that one was an easy one on this one. It's titled, They Swim.
That was a good one.
Yeah,
That is a good pick.
yeah, that was a good pick. You know, for some of these movies, like like after Aliens, it's hard to find the soundtracks for these damn movies. Like it's not like I usually just go to Spotify and I can find the soundtracks to the movies and I can listen to them at work. But Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection, I had to go to YouTube, and that shit was not.
Yeah, I will say that that is one thing YouTube does a great job to help me out as well, because like, I've looked for some of these on, like, Spotify, Amazon Music, and things like that, and it's like, if I can't find it on Spotify, I'm going to YouTube, and what the one you chose was my runner up. I ended up choosing The Aliens Escape,
Oh, that's
and,
a good one. Yeah.
oh, man, but between those 2, I had a very hard time picking. But it's just like you're waiting for what's gonna happen, how these things are gonna escape, and then you get the 2-on-1 where the aliens turn, uh, 2 aliens turn against or 2 xenomorphs turn against the 3rd xenomorph, and that's how they escape, and with the music that, like, accompanies that, I thought it was great because you don't it's just another way to show how smart these creatures are and how they'll kinda do whatever it takes to get what they want, even kill their own to escape and get out. So, like, the music that accompanied that titled The Aliens Escape, that was that and the one you chose, I believe you said it was titled They Swim.
Mhm.
Though those 2 were definitely the tops for this film for me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was, um, those 2 very easily, over the rest of this soundtrack, and I had to choose They Swim. I mean, that's just how it goes.
All right, how about I dive into my favorite quote for you? As always, I have some honorable mentions, but I will give you my favorite one first, and then I'll let you go, and then we'll dig in to some of the ones we have if neither of us say them.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
So my favorite one, this is a very easy and like probably a quote that nobody's gonna expect me to pick that has seen this movie, but it's when they're getting on to the ship and they're checking everybody and they're like, yeah, we want to make sure that none of your guys bring a gun on or a bomb on and blow a hole in our hull. And Reese comes up to the guy who has like the metal detector glove on, and the metal detector is just going bonkers. And he's an invalid, so he's in a chair, and he's like, "Want to check the chair?" And just the way he says it, it makes me laugh so hard every time that I watched this film and he said that, and I was like, I don't care what is said the rest of this film, that is the one.
Also had like one that was a little off um as well. And it was when they find out that Winona Ryder is an automaton, or they found out that she's an android. They're like making a big deal out of it, and they're all talking, and then we just met Purvis, and he after his freak out, and they're getting after each other back and forth, and and he goes, "Great, she's a toaster oven. Now can we please leave?"
It's just stupid humor that you don't think's gonna be funny, and then you watch it again and it's like, all right, that was pretty good.
I don't know why that got me so freaking hard. I was laughing like crazy on that scene because that just made me laugh. Great, she's a toaster oven.
Want to check the chair? So I got
What's one of your honorable mentions?
I got 3 of them, and I feel like you might take one of them, but, mine's a little my first one is a little back and forth between Jonah and Ripley, and he's just like, "Hey, Ripley, I heard you, like, ran into these things before." And she goes, "That's right." And Jonah replies, "Wow, man. So, like, what did you do?" And she just kinda, like, chuckles and goes, "I died." And he just looks at her like, "What?"
Oh, I'm vamping right off of that one, into, a back and forth with, DeStefano and Ripley, and DeStefano goes, "I thought you were dead." And Ripley goes, "Yeah, I get that a lot."
It's just like, it's bland humor, but it's funny. Like, these are some of the lines that, like, that make this movie worth watching for me. And, like, my second one here, this first quote from Ripley is one of my dishonorable mentions, but then the reply that we get from Jonah is, like, comedy gold. So Ripley goes, "Who do I have to fuck to get off this boat?" And Jonah goes, "I can get you off, maybe not the boat."
Stupid, why?
As a kid, you don't understand that joke whatsoever, but as an
No.
adult, you're like, "That is gold."
Um, Whenever Ripley discovers that Call is an android, she goes, "I should have known. No human being is this humane."
Just ripping on her. Everybody's just ripping on Call. My last one for you here is like another, when I rewatched it, I was like, "Ooh, that's kinda like it was like a middle school burn, like something you would say." And it's between Ren and Ripley. And Dr. Ren goes, "In the animal itself, wondrous. The potential, unbelievable once we've tamed them." And Ripley laughs and goes, "Roll over, play dead, heal. You can't teach it tricks." And he replies, "Why not? We're teaching you." And it was just like, ooh, got her. So those are my 3.
Alright, my last one, um, is between, Ripley and Call. It's a little back and forth, and Ripley goes, "Why do you care what happens to them?" And Call goes, "Because I'm programmed to." And then Ripley goes, "You're programmed to be an asshole? You're the new asshole model they're putting out. So dumb.
Just another shot at Winona Ryder. Such good stuff. I'll tell you, if this, if you don't want to watch this movie or don't like it's still worth a watch for the alien action and the comedy, some of the lines that are in this film. So what was your favorite scene in the film?
I think my favorite scene goes with my favorite score, and it's gonna be the underwater scene. I liked that. That whole scene was awesome. Um, you found out that the xenomorphs could do something new. They could swim. Like, the hell, man? And not only that, you got explosions underwater, and they kept that pretty cool. Um, I just like that whole scene. That was nice.
I 100% agree with you. I called it the cooling tanks dive. I don't know, but I remember seeing in the second film Aliens, one of the xenomorphs is coming up behind Newt and it's underwater and rises up. So it's like, okay, they can be in water, but you didn't know how fast they were, you didn't know how durable they were, and then you get to this film and you see that these things can haul ass underwater when they
Mhm.
turn it on. So like seeing them in that environment and then just seeing like once you get towards the end of that they created a trap for the humans to like pretty much back themselves into a corner. Like it was just again like how smart these creatures are, how quick they are. Like it's just an all around good scene to where it's like, okay, you're screwed if you go up here because there's a bunch of face huggers and eggs up there. You're screwed if you stay down here in the water because the xenomorphs can swim. So you pretty much have to pick your poison. And do you want to stay here and take your chances in the water, or take your chances with the face huggers? So it's like it's definitely a good scene. It for me it was the scene I always remembered from a little kid, and I know anyone that's listened to our Aliens episode heard me talk about that. I thought that scene was in the second film. Come to find out later that it was in this one.
Yeah, it's such a great scene. I mean, it really is. And I also had something like that where I saw a clip of the underwater scene, and I was like, I gotta watch that scene, but I'm not gonna watch these movies out of order.
I definitely watched them out of order. Whoops. So our last one for our favorites category, our favorite death or kill in the film, and I went with a combination of Purvis and Ren, where the chest burster just we're waiting, and what sucks is they're just about to put him into cryo and kind of put him to sleep, and he gets shot and he starts like spasming and going crazy, and he grabs uh Ren, and next thing you know he screams, and that great camera angle going down his throat, and we get the 2-for-1 kill where the chest burster busts out of Purvis's chest and through Ren's head. And I just feel like that was we get a lot of kills in this film that are quick and kind of not very like gory or like in your face. That one is like front and center. You get to see the chest burster go through the chest and the skull and like move around and wiggle. So like the effect was done really well. That one was just like the clear standout.
Um, that one definitely a good kill. I loved that kill, and I found that to be very inventive. My favorite kill though is a little bit early. Yeah, a little bit earlier in the film. It's whenever the xenomorphs they escape, and then you get a couple of soldiers. They go in there, and they go into there to go kind of like look through the hole to find them, and then the xenomorphs end up in the control room, and they know that the button that you press, delivers the like the liquid nitrogen or whatever, and they see the soldier and he hits it, and then it just blasts liquid nitrogen all over him and it freezes him. And then he has his gun. And he's gonna point it at the xenomorph, but it's stuck to the wall. And his whole arm breaks off, and he just freezes to death. And I thought that was a really inventive and crazy ass scene.
I 100% agree with you. That one, as soon as you see the drool or like the slime and spit from the xenomorph before you even see his face, you're just like, "Oh boy, this isn't gonna be good. This guy doesn't deserve this."
Yeah, that I felt so bad for that guy. I was like, damn.
I think I would rather take a quick headshot from the inner mouth of the xenomorph, the little mouth.
Yeah. Ugh. Absolutely,
So
dude. Absolutely.
so that is all we have for our favorites category on this film. So do we wanna wrap up and get into some final thoughts? We'll plug away, and we will talk about what we are doing on our next episode.
Absolutely, buddy. Absolutely. Why don't you go first on your final thought?
I can absolutely do that. So again, when it comes to Alien Resurrection, I mean, I feel like like it's crazy to say, but this is definitely one of the lower tier Alien films. But it's still fun. It's still a good time. There's good acting. There's some good quotable and funny lines that we talked about. There's good scenes. There's good action. But it's just one of those films to where, especially when you compare it to the first Alien and Aliens, which are like sci-fi action horror like legends, you just can't compare. And then even like Alien 3, like you can go back and kind of back and forth between Alien 3 and this one, which a lot of people do for like the worst of the franchise. You a lot of the times you hear Alien Resurrection and Alien 3. And I'm not going to talk about where it's at in my placement yet, but I still have fun with this. I still watch this every now and again. I can put it on, and I can sit down and have a good time and watch it. So I mean, I would recommend it to people just for a once over to check it out and see their opinion on it, because if you haven't seen it, you definitely can't give an opinion on it or listen to others' opinion until you've watched it yourself. So I can have fun with this. So what do you think?
I mean, I'm in the same boat. I am definitely in the same boat. There's not much to be said. I mean, to be added on to that. It's a good movie. It really is. It screams, and I'm talking about like high pitch wailing at you, 90s action sci-fi. I just there like what else could you want from it? It's an Alien franchise. It's part of the Alien universe, and whether you like it or not, it's it's a good film. I mean, it's got, I mean, some raunchy comedy. It's got, some good quips back and forth. It's got some crazy deaths. It's got xenomorphs. Come on, dude. You should just watch it just based on that. Um, it's I thoroughly enjoy it, and I enjoy it every single time. And yeah, it definitely is one of the ones that, you ask what the worst one is, and they will definitely say this one or Alien 3. And then for some people, Alien 3 and Resurrection are their favorites. Like, what kind of upside down world are we living in? Um, but I dude, I love it. I love this franchise. I love everything about it. This movie definitely gave some first, and you got the alien spitter, you got the swimmers, the weird humanoid alien uh crossover creature. I don't know, the hybrid. Uh, yeah, just it's a good film to watch whenever you're feeling that classic 90s sci-fi action. So do yourself a favor, watch it.
100%. So before we get out of here, Adrian, would you like to plug your other podcast and see if we can get some more listeners over there?
Absolutely. Thank you, buddy. Hey, everybody, please join me and my wife, Kaylin, on our podcast, the Make Me Believe podcast. It's a show where I try to convince her of believing in the paranormal, supernatural, and anything that goes bump in the night by reading her a bunch of scary stories, and not just made up stories, but real encounters and stuff like that. Just to try to get her to believe because there's some crazy stuff out there, and she doesn't believe it, and I'm fighting an uphill battle. So please help me.
Definitely fighting an uphill battle on that one. But as we continue on through this franchise, as I kind of said earlier, there were more sequels planned to follow Alien Resurrection, but they were ultimately scrapped or abandoned as the crossover series with the Predator arrived with the 2004 film Aliens versus Predator. So we will not be looking at Aliens versus Predator just yet. Don't worry, they are coming. Fans of those two films, they are coming. But instead, we will be continuing with the prequel for the Alien franchise with Prometheus, which was released June 1st, 2012. So that one is one that I feel like every time I watch it or I like it more. So we will see what happens on this next rewatch for our episode on it. But I feel like over the years, every time I've watched it, I've liked it a pinch more or caught something that I didn't catch the last time I watched it, and it gave me a little bit more appreciation for it. So we'll see what happens coming up.
Oh yeah. Yep. I'm super excited for Prometheus because this one is definitely an interesting movie, and I can't wait to get into those takes.
And it's great to have, Ridley Scott back kind of exploring the world that he created. So that is what kind of excited me for the Prometheus film. I wanted to see it in theaters. I didn't, but definitely looking forward to talking about it on our next episode.
Absolutely. I cannot wait. Tune in next week, people.
So before we get out of here, I want to say thank you to Adrian because, of course, I wouldn't be able to do it without him because I would not want to sit here and talk to you guys by myself and make you endure an hour and 20 minutes every episode of just me. So appreciations to him.
Of course, anytime. I went to church today, and I went to a new church, and one of the pastors there, I don't know what he was, but he saw my tattoos, and he's like, "Oh, I love the Jurassic Park movie," and I was like, "Yeah, I got Alien here," and we got into talking about movies, and it was great. So I think I got you a few new listeners there.
Hey, it is always appreciated.
Of course,
Trust me,
buddy.
I've been telling my coworkers about the Make Me Believe. I'm trying to make them believe as well.
That's fantastic. I love it.
But of course, again, thank you. And I mean, before you listen to our next episode on Prometheus, watch the film, tell us what you think about it ahead of time, and then you can listen to us and what we think about it and how we feel about it the following Monday after this episode releases. So again, thank you, Adrian. Thanks anyone who's out there listening. Prometheus on our next episode, and until next time.
See ya.
Great. She's a toaster oven. Can we leave now?